Alright, YouTube, I have a little bit of an announcement to make this morning, and before I head into work, so I figured I'd take the time to make this. I thought it would be a good time since I've got like 20 or so minutes to do this, and I have, I finally got my long overdue haircut yesterday. So, yeah. So basically in the news, this has been circulating for about a month or so now, but everybody's favorite hateful, bigoted, right-wing evangelical, it's kind of that kind of corresponds with one another. The evangelical, corrupt, neocon asshole Pat Robertson, who is the host of the 700 Club, which is literally a right-wing religious news program or religious program, whatever the fuck you want to call it, on the Christian Broadcasting Network. He has officially retired after about fucking 5,000 years on the air. Well, actually, no, I'm just exaggerating, obviously, but on the air for about 50 years. So, Pat Robertson, now in his fucking 90s, or he looks like about fucking 9,000 years old, but yeah, has officially retired. He has thrown in the towel. He has finally thrown in the towel. So yes, Pat fucking Robertson is officially not on air. And what do I think of this? I say good fucking riddance to him, because he's a piece of shit. He always has been and always will be until the fucking day he dies. And it's not really going to matter, because there's just going to be another fucking right-wing asshole that's going to take his place. What difference is it going to make? Pat Robertson is known for being a shitty fucking human being. Not just for the hateful, bigoted shit that he has spewed on a daily basis for the last, 60, 70 fucking years, but just basically, just his corrupt dealings with, and just the fucking impacts that he's had worldwide with so many people. Let's not forget, this is the guy that had corrupt business deals with right-wing dictators. Yes, right-wing U.S.-backed puppet dictators like Charles Taylor of Liberia, who was one of the world's worst dictators, who was a U.S. puppet backed until whenever Bush got in, and Bush withdrew support for him and called for his arrest under international authorities, and then Liberia kind of returned to what the quote-unquote democratic rule, but remains one of the most corrupt nations on earth, and they're basically fucked because of him and because of people like him. And he also backed the dictator of Zaire, which Zaire was the country before the Democratic Republic, which is today the Democratic Republic of the Congo, also one of the world's worst countries as far as corruption and human rights is concerned. And Pat Robertson has had fucking deals with these people, with right-wing backed dictators. And so basically he's done business dealings with some of the world's worst human beings. I don't know how many other dictators he's had fucking dealings with, but he's had dealings with quite a bit of them. And remember, this guy also called for the assassination of Hugo Chavez, the former president of Venezuela, who was like a left-leaning bombastic leader of Venezuela for a great number of years. And why did Pat Robertson call for his assassination? Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe because Hugo Chavez is a left-wing leader. And because he's a left-wing leader, and because he actually, at the time, this is not to defend him or anything, but he kind of rightfully called out the Republicans and their bullshit in Latin America, and so on and so forth. And Pat Robertson thought that's unacceptable. So he thought, oh yeah, Hugo Chavez is a dictator. He's a tyrant. He's basically making Latin America and Venezuela I don't know whatever the fuck he said, a bed for communist, Marxist, so on, fucking Muslim, whatever. I don't know what. Just fucking slapping words like that around and acting. Yeah, Chavez did this, and he keeps thinking that we're going to assassinate him or whatever, because Hugo Chavez has always accused the CIA, and rightfully so, of trying to orchestrate a coup against him. Because let's be honest, a little history lesson here. The Bush administration did back a coup against him in 2002. It was classified documents. That's not a conspiracy theory. The Bush administration in 2002 tried to oust Hugo Chavez, and when he was ousted briefly until he returned to power and he was restored, the Bush administration backed it. And Hugo Chavez thought, oh shit, the fucking CIA is out to get me. They're out to fucking assassinate me. And Hugo Chavez is just like, yeah, but they should go ahead and do it. And he sparked worldwide outrage as a result of it. And rightfully so, because he's a fucking hypocrite. Because he's a fucking moron. He's a fucking asshole. You know why? Because it's like, dude, here's the thing. No matter what, okay? And look, Hugo Chavez definitely had some human rights issues. Let's cut to the chase. But here's the damn thing about it. You're supposed to be a man of God, and you're calling for the assassination of a foreign leader. You fucking old retard. You fucking psychotic retard. That's what he fucking did. And back in August of 2005, that's literally what he did. And he sparked outrage throughout the world. Like throughout the world, evangelicals across the world were even condemning his words. And he went on damage control, had to apologize for it, and said, oh, I didn't mean to say this, I didn't mean to say that, basically just walking back on it and whatnot. So yeah, no, Pat Robertson is a shitty human being, and, you know, he's made other offensive comments. He's made offensive comments about, obviously, the gays. He hates the gays more than anybody. He's made bigoted comments about Muslims. He's basically made bigoted comments about basically anybody, liberals, everybody, feminine, everybody, any people who dare to disagree with him, anyone who is even slightly more moderate than him. Okay, so that's the idea. Like, he appeals to the fucking Rick Santorums of the world, and the Jair Bolsonaros of the world, and the people like that of the world. That's who he fucking appeals to. You know, he appeals to, like, the extreme homophobes of society. That's who this motherfucker appeals to. Which is like, oh gee, I don't know, maybe less than 20% of the American population, and maybe less so of the world's population, well, depending on what country. But, you know, also let's not forget, Pat Robertson has made psychotic comments and ridiculous comments at that. Let's see. Oh, what did Pat Robertson do during the Gulf War? The Gulf War in 1991. When Saddam Hussein, the former Iraqi secular leader, of course, who was obviously authoritarian, he was a Sunni-backed leader, and he invaded Kuwait in 1991 because Iraq and Kuwait were mortal enemies, just like he was with Iran, because Iran and the Sunni and the Shiites, Iran is Shiite and so on and so forth. So yeah, Iraq and Kuwait were mortal enemies because apparently, I don't know what Kuwait, they had some dispute with Kuwait, and they hated Kuwait for a number of years, basically, and Saddam Hussein thought that Kuwait was one of theirs, and he wanted to reclaim that land, basically, or the land of Kuwait, and took it over. So, which obviously was fucked up, which was a war crime, so he took over, and that's what he did. So yeah, he invaded Kuwait and killed countless people. He was a bad guy. But then, obviously, George H.W. Bush was president at the time in 1990, August of 1990, when Kuwait was invaded. And rightfully so, you know, obviously the UN was giving him fucking, like, say, like, listen, you need to withdraw from Kuwaiti territory, or you're gonna, or global, like, countries, whatever you want to call them, will have the right to use force. So basically the UN was giving authority to use force against Saddam in Kuwait. So then George H.W. Bush rallied a coalition of global powers to kick him out of Kuwait, to basically push him out of Kuwait, which initially I actually supported, because this is a case of self-defense, defending a country that had no business being attacked. So originally that made sense, but here's the double-edged sword to that. There were war crimes committed on both sides. Okay, obviously Saddam Hussein committing war crimes by invading Kuwait, but guess who else committed war crimes during the Gulf War? George H.W. Bush, and I'll get to that in just a second. Pat Robertson met with George H.W. Bush just before the Gulf War took place, just before he launched the Gulf War to liberate Kuwait. He basically said, hey, I'm Mr. President. He met him literally in the Oval Office. I got a message from God. I literally got a message from God. Literally said, I got a message from God. It's like, dude, you're fucking psychotic. And obviously George H.W. Bush, obviously being the fucking right-wing, corrupt neocon asshole who is now dead, passed away in 2018. Good fucking riddance, rotten fucking hell, fucking scumbag Bush. Anyway, I fucking hate the Bushes, as you can tell. So he basically, yeah, that's what happened, and he obviously, George H.W. Bush is just like, wow, really, Mr. Robertson? Let's hold hands together. Let's hold hands together. Let's hold hands. Look how gay we look. Oh, look how gay we are, because, you know, we're so in the closet. But in all due seriousness, yeah, that's literally what happened. And Pat Robertson told George H.W. Bush, I got a message from God that you will launch the Gulf War and it will go smoothly to liberate Kuwait and it will be great. I got a message from God for you to launch the Gulf War. It's like you are praying over a fucking war, which was initially justifiable in the beginning, but as the war went on, the war lasted until February of 1991. And obviously kicking Saddam out of, Kuwait, and obviously Saddam being literally Iraq going into shambles, and Iraq being a pariah state on the world stage until fucking his son invaded years later, and Saddam being gone and all that good shit. But yeah, whatever, fucking good shit, and I mean that sarcastically, because it was a fucking war crime. But anyway, that's basically what happened as far as that goes. So yeah, there were war crimes committed during the Gulf War. There were. George H.W. Bush committed fucking war crimes. There was an air raid shelter that had civilians in it, and during the Gulf War, George H.W. Bush bombed this air raid shelter that killed, somewhere between 300 to 500 maybe Iraqi civilians. They knew it was a fucking air raid shelter. They fucking bombed it anyway. And what did Pat Robertson do? He's praying, I got a message from God for you to do that. Really? Yeah, there's a word for killing civilians in the name of a political cause. It's called terrorism. George H.W. Bush was a fucking war criminal. And Pat Robertson was fucking praying for him. And I'm praying to you over a war and whatnot. Dude, go fuck yourself. And obviously Daddy Bush couldn't do the job. So his fucking scumbag moron pinhead neocon pinhead douchebag of a son, George W. himself, wanted to do what Daddy couldn't do for him. Like father, like son, right? Two fucking war criminals. One is dead and the other one is still living, and he should be in fucking prison, but that's besides the point. So yeah, Pat Robertson, this is the legacy of fucking Pat Robertson. Years of supporting war crimes, years of supporting some of the worst dictators on the fucking planet, supporting some of the worst people on the planet, and basically being an advocate for American imperialism. It's people like Pat Robertson that ignite left-wing conspiracy theories and whatnot. Obviously, I'm center-left, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just tell it like it is. I just call it like I fucking see it. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, but I'll tell you right now, that's not an opinion. This is not opinions. These are facts. And Pat Robertson is a fucking scumbag, and he's a shitty human being. Obviously, for the anti-gay shit, me being a gay man myself, I mean, how do you think we're supposed to feel about you, Pat Robertson? And by the way, Donald Trump also got the fucking backing of this guy. He was backed by this guy as well, let's not forget. Also, Pat Robertson, let's not forget, when the Las Vegas shooting happened, he blamed mass shootings on disrespect for Trump. So really, so because we fucking can't stand Donald Trump for obvious reasons, your message, Pat Robertson, your message is the Las Vegas shooting where 50 plus people were massacred. You blame that on disrespect for the orange Oompa Loompa occupying the White House at the time. And at one point, Trump got so fucking crazy at the end, where he was obviously bitching that the election was rigged and all this other stuff, like the fucking wannabe cult leader that he is, and always will be, and always was, and always will be. Even Pat Robertson is just like, all right, dude, you had your way. It's time to move on. even Pat Robertson was like, all right, I can't with this guy. So yeah, Probably not because Pat Robertson did it out of the goodness of his heart, because let's be honest, he's anything but good. But I think it got to the point where he even was like, he knew that if he was going to back Trump, and then leading up to the fucking insurrection that Trump incited and so on and so forth, then that led to him saying like, yeah, I can't fucking support this guy no more. And because he probably knew, oh shit, I'm going to lose a bunch of people. Let's not forget, this guy is also chancellor of the Regent University in Virginia. Yeah, by the way, Virginia, recently passed LGBT protections earlier last year. Because prior to that, Virginia was one of the many states in the U.S. where LGBT people were not protected from discrimination or hate crimes, and they just recently were. Like, Virginia was a state lacking civil rights protections for LGBT people up until last year. And fucking idiots like Pat Robertson ignited shit like that and kept shit like that going. But now, good fucking riddance to Pat Robertson. Good fucking riddance. So yeah, Pat, it's time for you. Yeah, good. Throw in the towel. Enjoy the last, like, whatever, however many years of your fucking misery, your fucking life, whatever. Like, good riddance, but it's not going to matter because some other scumbag is going to take his place. Just as to be expected. Any of them would. I could go on and on and on about Pat Robertson literally all fucking day because of how much of a shitty human being he is and how much of a shitty human being he always was and always will be. I mean, he's advocated for some of the worst shit going, obviously. A bigot and all that. I'm surprised he hasn't had Jair Bolsonaro on. I'm surprised he hasn't had other right-wing dictators. Oh yeah, wait a minute, that's right. He did bag Jair Bolsonaro, as far as I know. Obviously not surprising, to say the least, because Jair Bolsonaro and Pat Robertson are what would be like a fucking match made in heaven, because they literally advocate for the same shit. So yeah, right-wing bigots empower right-wing bigots. Hence why Trump was also with them too, because Trump was also a fucking bigot. Well, minus the anti-gay shit. He didn't really care about that, but that's besides the point. So yeah, good riddance to Pat Robertson. Yeah, good fucking riddance. Good fucking riddance, you old biddy. Good riddance, you old hateful, disgusting, bitter old asshole. Good fucking riddance. Good fucking riddance. That's what I have to say about Pat Robertson. That's what I have to say to him and people like him. LGBT rights are human rights, and we're not scared of you. The LGBT community is stronger than your fucking hatred. So yeah, Pat, you can fuck off. Like, you can kiss my fucking ass. Because we in the LGBT community, we're not, you can't fucking do anything. Because the more offensive you try to get, the louder we're going to laugh. Kiss my fucking ass. Good fucking riddance. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here because I got to head to work in a few minutes. Thank you all for listening. Comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. I'll be back with more videos, more streams, and more short stories, legal lessons, other content and stuff in the works. Stay tuned to find out more videos on the way. I'll see you all again soon. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all again in the next video. More content, short stories, projects, and other stuff coming your way. This is Zach the Celtics guy saying thank you for watching. I'll see you all again soon, and see you all again in the next video. Bye for now. Peace out. And Pat Robertson and evangelical right-wing assholes like him, fuck all of you. Go fuck yourselves. To everyone else, peace out and have a good day.